Hi everyone, a very good morning. Today, let's discuss how we can enable our teams and leadership to be jointly informed and responsible for security risks. As mentioned before, I'm Nanzeen and I've been with ThoughtWorks for 10 years, responsible to shape and lead the AppSec program for ThoughtWorks internal operations. I'm currently co-leading the cyber stream of work at InfoSec. Let me share why and how we at InfoSec introduced a new security engagement model to embrace or to enable our teams to embrace DevSecOps and leadership to take accountability for security risks. Because everyone theoretically agrees that security is everyone's responsibility. Unfortunately, it's easier said than done. And hearing and reading about the various security repercussions from these breaches, the reputational losses, the financial losses, I still fail to understand how is security still an afterthought. You would have observed that security is still considered as a checkbox or a gate in many organizations. Just before a release or before finalizing a vendor, teams approach InfoSec and ask for their blessings. Can we go live is the question we always get at the last moment. We started observing this with our delivery teams too. They used to get stuck on their journey, their development journey, and then when they came to InfoSec, it was way too late in the feedback cycle. After key decisions are made, then we were involved. And to top it all, the capacity of our team was limited, and hence we ended up becoming the bottleneck. Let me zoom into a few of the challenges. Ownership and accountability of secure development was falling outside the product team. It was falling onto InfoSec. We used to have these monthly engagement calls with the team, and it fueled an already established notion that requirements are coming from InfoSec, and security is InfoSec's problem to solve. Security literacy or capability around security engineering practices, tools, was limited to the SME. And this was not going to scale as the number of teams grew. The monthly engagement calls that I talked about, they were bad. They felt like a status call. They were calls that did not even achieve a desired longer-term outcome. And we were hoping that these calls we can discuss with the teams about architecture, about tools, about practices, but that was not happening. And when we spoke to the leads about it, they shared that, it's very difficult for them to incorporate these controls, these requirements in their roadmap. Hence, we understood that the product owners and leads value progress. They value a secure product, but they need context. Teams value autonomy, but they need context. They need help. And InfoSec values security, but we don't scale indefinitely. Something had to change. This ad hoc way of engagement was not working. Capability within IT was still lacking. And to top it all, there was no team dedicated, passionate, or who had the vision to help the delivery teams on this journey. This was a clear indicator to set up the Center of Excellence. With the Center of Excellence, we decided that we will try and help the teams plan ahead in their journey. Leveraging the power of why, leveraging the curiosity of the delivery teams, we decided we will try and make sure they have all the information at hand. We decided to make sure that the progress or the support is scalable and flexible. And most importantly, we wanted to make sure the progress is visible, is measurable. Security is all about maintaining a state of acceptable risk, and you cannot do that without data. Hence, we decided that we will concentrate on insights. So in the next slides, I'm going to share some key steps we took to achieve these goals. I can talk on this topic at length, but I've chosen to prioritize 4 steps, which I hope will paint a picture of our journey. Using DevSecOps manifesto as our guiding lights, we asked what will make the process that we design effective for teams. From my previous change management experience, we made sure that we should avoid forcing change by external triggers. Hence, the first step was to establish a security champion program. Now, a security champion could be, a person playing any role, a developer, QA, BA, XD. And we would work with them to empower them to critically question the security repercussions of the decisions made within the team. But to support them more, we decided on a few more steps. The next question we wanted to know about is what are the current touch points? How do teams today deliver products, deliver their features? And as you all would, have seen and worked on your teams, most of the teams use a project management tool to understand, what are the various upcoming features? What is my next priority? What are the defects? What are the next milestones? And all rituals are around this project management tool. So it's all around, your stand-ups, your retrospectives, everything is around what is in my scope, what is next in my scope. Hence, we decided to create such a board, this is in Trello, where we ended up adding all the security requirements labeled by when it should be done, so giving a priority, as well as organized by a category. So a category could be IAM, secrets management, data protection, etc. Now this complete glance or this complete view for the teams helped them understand they can self-pace their journey. They understand what requirements are there for the feature, for the product, and how do they plan it in their roadmap. Previously, the ad hoc requirements that we used to talk to the teams in the calls, suddenly realizing, oh, you know what? This product is already missing a requirement. You have to take care of this. Teams already had a full backlog. We were adding things to an already full backlog, and they got stuck. And at the end, these requirements were written in some Word document, which was never, referred back until the next meeting. So this approach resonated with their way of working because now these controls were sliced and diced in a way that could move from backlog to in progress and completed. It helped them understand these are like cards, these are like controls, can move to completed, and it worked very well with them. So overall, this helped even the security champions to come in, lead, mentor their team, and magnify the impact of AppSec within their teams. Let me go into a little details of the controls. For example, secrets handling. There are 2 sections, the why and the how. The why was very crucial for us. So a control like secrets handling, a lot was mentioned about the breaches in very common companies, very well-known companies, that were, the root cause was mishandling of secrets. Those were mentioned, the links to those articles were mentioned. Common mistakes that we make due to mishandling of secrets, how could we avoid them, and which could help increase the confidence of our stakeholders. Overall, links to, articles was present, but we made sure there were specific paragraphs from those articles that were mentioned in the why. So there's one glance, one read, and you understand the value of this control. Then it moves to the how, which you can think about like an acceptance criteria. So we talked about, does your team implement password manager? Are your secrets segregated per environment? Is there tools like Talisman as your pre-commit hook, Whisper in your path to production, in your build phase? And these controls this control could be completed if you finish these particular tasks. Another example, threat modeling. All controls were divided into the why and how, but a little more effort was put into the how for this control. So we consciously built upskilling in these controls. So one example was to work with the security champions and help them facilitate a threat modeling for their feature, for their product. And the methodology we used was STRIDE. I'll keep this for a second so that you can read through STRIDE. Overall, using this methodology, we worked with the team where they could then start, on their journey of risk thinking. Our main aim in these controls was to make sure that the teams do not only just move a control to done for the sake of it, or once it's done, it's completed. We wanted to make sure that there's learning skills that will help them when they work on any new project or any new feature. There are tools that are added which make these processes repeatable. So using STRIDE, the security champions also got a chance to to improve their facilitation skills, but also risk thinking overall in their journey. All these controls were mapped to the very common visualization of build security in. So build security in highlights the phases, right from product kickoff to monitoring, and we made sure our controls are mapped to all these phases, which highlights the point that security needs to be thought right from the beginning and to the maintenance phase. Yesterday, there was a talk on highlighting how teams do not consider the effort that has to go in the maintenance phase, and a lot has to do with security in the maintenance phase. So overall, having this visualization promoted or reinforced this idea and helped them see whatever they are looking at can be connected back to the controls. With that, you'll say, I get the point of the controls, but Nanzeen, why is the talk about the power of why? And the value these cards had in the part of the section why was a very big conscious effort from us. Step back, think about the time when you have worked on a project, a feature. What made you understand, why am I doing this? What is the effort I'm putting into it? What is the value it's bringing to the team or the business? Unless you had that clarity, it was just some mundane routine work. We made sure that each control can highlight the threat it mitigates, the confidence it will bring in the stakeholders, the value it brings back to the business. And therefore, whenever a card was moved to completed during our discussions with the team, none of them were moved for the sake of movement. They were understood, they were sliced and diced even further by the team, because how you do it is up to the team, why is necessary, and that value was understood by the team. So we spent a lot of time on the why, and we keep evolving the control, but it still remains a crucial part of the control. Overall, this helped us with the vision to seed the security program within IT. We defined the control, we let the procedures be that anyone in the team can implement it, and this led to a sense of fulfilled accomplishment, which is so important for the motivation and morale of a team. Most change programs do not take this into consideration, and I think it is very important that the people who are undergoing this change feel a part of it, rather than, like it's being pushed externally. And this was the start of our journey for culture shift towards DevSecOps. This is a snapshot of a board from the Trello board that we created. This was created per team. We had a Python script that automates like, which type of team is this? Is it a homegrown service? Is it a team that works on just APIs? Is it a team that just has to work with a SaaS product? All the controls depended on the team archetype or the product archetype, and the board was created per team according to the archetype. And we did not stop there. We made sure that the insights from the Trello board can be pulled into creating a dashboard which highlights each category-wise, where are your controls, how are you doing. We used Trello webhooks, pushed it to a collector, and we had this graphic in place, or this visualization in place for each team. This was the first time this is also the first time. So this was the first time teams could understand or see where they are in their security journey. This data was so useful for them. So they were able to see, you know what, secrets management is taking a lot of time. Tech principals would come in and see, why is lifecycle management taking so much time? It helped to understand where the technical debt is. Because security is all about engineering at the end. So it all comes together when you get the data. But this was way too detailed for our CXO level or steering team level. This visualization was way too detailed for them. Hence, we shared with them a maturity model which highlights from level 0. Teams are unorganized, the process is reactive, they're starting on their journey. Moving ahead to level 2, where all processes or all requirements are in place. Well, the controls are not absolutely automated, but they're repeatable. And moving on to level to 4, where it's continuous monitoring, all controls are repeatable and automated. Now, this kind of visualization or this kind of maturity model was then mapped against the teams. Look, these are all the insights we took from the Trello board itself. Bringing all the steering committee together to discuss the maturity of the teams, enable them to take informed decisions. That was our goal, that there should be the stakeholders, the CXOs who are running IT to be able to take decisions around risks. And this facilitated that. Bringing them together along with this visualization was a big, big step for us. They then came together, they then looked at which team is taking time to respond, which team is working fast, which, where is the struggle. This helped them have those conversations overall. One side effect, which I really liked, was the gamification between the tech principals. We had not thought of it, but the tech principals started coming to us and talking about, how do we move a level up? Why is my team not doing well? And that positive gamification helped a lot to seed this program to get a sense of moving ahead in this maturity. So overall, the aim is to let the data tell the story, let the data help you make the change within the organization. Risk-based decision-making was a very big impact, a very big step for us, getting all this data implemented, working with the teams. We also made sure that any visualization that the team sees is connected back to the controls, because that leads to effective adoption. You're talking about a maturity level 0. Where do I go back and how do I improve it? I go back to the controls. Where is my why mentioned? Back in the controls. So everything was related to the controls. It led to better usability, better, faster adoption. Another key step in our journey was about making sure that the security champions are nominated rather than undergoing like a voluntary like, oh, I want to be a security champion, can I do it? We made sure that they undergo nominations. So the tech principals had this task of nominating a security champion. The reason is, when your lead is talking to you about a role, about why security is important, it rubs off the importance of this particular aspect of engineering. I'm already passionate about security, but you are, as my lead, also telling me what this involves, how is it going to contribute to my product, how is it going to contribute to business. It brings a lot more enthusiasm to do my work. So nominations were key, and we worked with these security champions along with these controls, and that helped them take this ahead. So it was an ownership they took. They worked on the controls and moved it to the completed column. And the last was the community. So we didn't just get some nominations from the from the tech principals, talk to the security champion once. No, we made sure there are workshops lined up for them. Workshops ranging from threat modeling facilitation, as I talked of before, workshops ranging from security principles to incident response. How do you work with, say, security headers? What is it about security requirements? So we had dedicated workshops planned for them too. This also helped with upskilling them, but also creating an environment where they feel supported and can discuss their approach. Overall, we got some great feedback for this rollout, and these were our main steps to achieve it. But let me share what our reflection was and some of the feedback. Our hypothesis that if we can get people to understand the value of why, it will enable them to understand the impact they are creating by working on these controls, and we will see a shift in maturity. That hypothesis stood true. So once the value is understood, people tend to work better towards the outcomes. This model that you saw, the maturity model, it was mapped with 40 teams at that time. So when the teams, the tech leads, the tech principals started talking about how do I move a level up, instead of just saying, what am I missing? Why are you always complaining about the security? And never moving a card just for the sake of movement to a completed, it helped understand that this has worked. This has resonated with the leadership. This has resonated with the teams. From today's talk, if you take nothing but these 5 takeaways, it will be a big win. Transforming and championing a change approach towards DevSecOps is not easy. It was an extensive process. It was tedious. But by fostering human relationships, by connecting and getting executive buy-in, by trying to make sure we are able to make our workflows, which was seen as friction, automate them, find an easier solution to them, is a great step towards, this change program. The main point was to make ourselves redundant, and that still stands true because InfoSec cannot and should not be driving all security requirements execution-wise. It should be the team. We come in to consult, but we want to make ourselves redundant because at the end, security is where the teams work, and that is the best place where it can be implemented, thought of, architected. With that, I have written a 2-part, more details on this topic in a 2-part series, a blog on ThoughtWorks Insights. So they have much more details. And if you would like to talk to me more about the controls, about kickstarting a security champion program in your organization, or the AppSec program in general, the below are my coordinates. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lead Dev, for having me.